everyone, I'm your host Pensyfan 19 and welcome to the December 2025 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which goes over most of the major writing headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. First off, I'd like to apologize for the significantly long delay with releasing this episode, since I've just been incredibly busy with visiting family over the holidays, in addition to a much larger reason which will be revealed in the next video on this channel. That, and I just wasn't really sure what to talk about first for the month. But I eventually settled on another set of long-awaited North American light rail projects opening within days of each other, specifically for Seattle's Link, Toronto's TTC, and Buffalo Metro Rail. The first of the three aforementioned expansions opened on Saturday, December 6th, where Line 1 of Seattle's Link Light Rail was extended southward 3 stops to Kent Des Moines, Star Lake, and Federal Way downtown. These 3 elevated light rail stations represent the next step in a larger plan to ultimately extend Line 1 to Tacoma, thus representing Sound Transit's massive plans and expansion on all forms of transit. The second and largest of the 3 projects is TTC Line 6 Finch West, which opened the next day on Sunday, December 7th, with this line being an entirely new light rail line between Humber College and Finch West subway station. This is the TTC's first dedicated light rail line that isn't part of the existing Toronto streetcar network, as since Line 6 is an entirely new service, it got the most discussion among the 3 projects, specifically with regards to its slow speed by running among traffic and for not receiving signal priority, with one man notoriously outrunning the light rail by 18 minutes. These issues were quickly brought to the TTC's attention, as they have since given the light rail signal priority, in addition to a few other upgrades in order to improve the experience for this light rail line on the outskirts of Toronto. The last and smallest transit expansion of the bunch included the opening of DL&W Station on Buffalo Metro Rail the next day, on Monday, December 8th, in which the original Lackawanna Rail Buffalo terminus was redeveloped from an MOW facility and former heavy rail station into a new light rail station. This permanent station was constructed, or rather converted, in order to give riders better access to the waterfront and to the KeyBank Center Stadium, while the upper level of the building is to be redeveloped into a public market for various purposes. Once again, it's great to see this many transit projects opening this close to each other in North America, as it's always exciting to see what regions will be benefiting from a new transit expansion, as well as seeing what can be learned from each project in order to be better prepared for the next transit project, wherever it may be. Speaking of which, here's some interesting news. Metro North Siemens Charger number 307 tested on various LRR branch lines, thus being the first Siemens Charger on Long Island. Jeff Kessler of Keolis/MBTA won an IRJ Young Rail Leaders Award. Euro Airlines and Access Rail are to create combined air and rail ticketing for travel across Europe. CSX's corporate jet fleet has been grounded. Several trains in Lancashire were cancelled over an AI image of a bridge collapse. Netflix has acquired Warner Brothers. Metro launched an online store featuring a body pillow of a SD70 Mac. More than a dozen Metro lines in China opened during the last few days of the year. Iran is to produce their first domestically produced tram. Eurostar is to offer direct service between London and Frankfurt. Roma Metro Line C has been extended to the Colosseum. And 3 Siemens Vectrons were delivered from the plant by a DRG Class 50 steam engine. Now here's the follow-up news sections for articles covering stories from previous episodes. The Arizona Eastern applied an America 250th livery to a B40-8. Amtrak has rejected Ameristar Rail's Transcontinental Chief proposal. Mark Rail is the new name for the Milwaukee to Kenosha commuter rail proposal. Great British Railways has revealed their official livery. CoRail and Supreme Rail are to merge by the end of next year. The East Midlands Railway Class 810 has entered service. China has started high-speed freight rail service as the same country reached 50,000 km of HSR networks. Uzbekistan has received their Hyundai Rotem HSTs. And Alto is to open the Montreal to Ottawa segment of the project as their first phase of the high-speed rail line. In other news, Saudi Arabia and Qatar are to construct their own high-speed rail line. Grand Central has started service between London and Seaham. Dutch open access operator Go Volta has entered the European cross-border intercity service market. OBB's Korlum Railway has commenced service, along with Dongguan Metro Line 1. Port Jervis is to remove the town's railway museum from the Erie turntable. VRE has appointed Katie Cho as their new CEO, while Via Rail CEO Mario Eloquin is to step down. John Cena has retired from his wrestling career. Alstom is to construct more Extrapolis MUs for Mexico's proposed passenger rail network. Stadler is to provide Stadler Flirt train sets for Enterprise, along with Stadler Sailing trams for Aarhus and Frankfurt. SCM Slovenia is to purchase new long-distance coaches. Skoda is to provide BMUs for Latvian railways. SNCB has placed an order for CAF AM30 EMUs. Trirail has purchased a few Siemens chargers. The Eco-Train Railbus has started testing in France. Myanmar has placed their first battery multiple unit in service. Refurbished Skoda trams in Gothenburg have started service, along with Stadler Tina trams from Rostock. CN ST75I ACC number 8357 has been repainted to advertise the 988 hotline. Hexafret has retired their BB 36300 fleet. 2 Metro North M3A pairs have been preserved by the Danbury Railway Museum. North Shore Railroad released their America 250 livery. And NJ Transit released their America 250 livery, inspired by the Erie Lackawanna and Milwaukee Road Bicentennial liveries. And happy 40th anniversary to TransLink. After all that, it is now time for this month's meme of the month. This month's meme of the month is GWR 6700. And now, the top story of the December 2025 Pensyfan periodical is VinSpeed selects Siemens to develop high-speed rail in Vietnam. For the first time in a long time, we have a top story that focuses on something outside of North America, as VinSpeed has selected the Siemens Velaro Novo as their official train set for Vietnam's first high-speed rail line, in addition to Siemens being selected to provide various other HSR services for the project. Rather unusually, this is the first time a European manufacturer has been selected to construct new rolling stock for Asia, instead of a more local Asian company such as CRRC, Kawasaki, or Hyundai Rotem, especially for a project this large. The proposed $5.4 billion high-speed rail line is supposed to connect Hanoi City and Ha Long City with a top speed of 220 miles per hour, as this railroad now joins ICE and Brightline West as the only companies that placed an order of the Velaro Novo, the newest HST in the Siemens catalog. In addition to the train sets, this package includes Siemens providing ETCS signaling with automatic train operation, as well as telecommunications, electrification systems, and additional maintenance services, as this winner-take-all package is similar to the extensive role that Siemens also has with developing Egypt's proposed high-speed rail system. Though I am surprised to see that this European company won the project instead of a closer Asian builder, I am glad to see that Siemens was selected based on their high quality of work on other projects around the world, as their expertise in new rolling stock will help make this project stand out as one of the more unique high-speed rail projects in development around the world. Seeing that this is the last periodical for the year, it's that time again to select a top story of the year, in which one of the 12 top stories is looked into further as one of the most significant for the year. 2025 was one hectic year for a wide variety of reasons, both good and bad, for several topics both in and outside the rail industry. But after looking at all the different stories for the year, I've come to the final decision that the 2025 Pensyfan periodical top story of the year goes to Union Pacific to acquire Norfolk Southern. With a Class 1 mega merger once again becoming the top story of the year, Union Pacific announced plans to merge with Norfolk Southern for $85 billion back in July, creating the first direct east to west coast transcontinental railroad and opening various east to west coast shipping opportunities without layover periods in the Midwest. Although, some would argue that this is more of an acquisition, since the proposed name of the new railroad would still be Union Pacific, as said railroad has been much more prevalent with advertising and pushing for the merger than the East Coast counterpart, even to the point of meeting with the President of the United States to discuss the merger. Not to mention, I feel this is also a missed opportunity to rename the railroad to Southern Pacific and also bring back that fallen flag, but I digress. with the combination of the two railroads creating a 50,000-mile-long company across 43 states. Several unions and local groups have raised their concerns regarding the merger, citing higher fees, lower competition, and potentially lower overall service quality, as the STB has stated that they will carefully review the roughly 7,000-page-long merger application document which has been submitted by the two railroads on Friday, December 19th, therefore starting a years-long review process for pending final approval. Seeing that 2 of the 4 American Class 1s are in the process of merging into a new system, this caused many to speculate as to whether CSX and BNSF would merge in order to compete, with both railroads stating they were not directly interested in merging, although CSX would later have a new CEO be appointed who previously had experience with improving businesses. With all of this in mind, I'm honestly not entirely sure how to feel about the potential creation of this mega railroad. On the one hand, it would be sad to see Norfolk Southern become a fallen flag, and there are still the looming monopoly concerns, but several direct shipping opportunities would also arise from a direct system, reducing up to a day's worth in travel time. And unlike previous mergers, there is no overlapping trackage between UP and NS, meaning that both sides would most likely keep their existing fleet and jobs, maybe except for a few managerial positions. But whatever happens, this year saw the start of one of the most historically significant merger applications in railroad history, in addition to everything else that happened in this eventful year, as the eventual final outcome of this major talking point will ultimately determine the future of American railroading and history as a whole. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of real news headlines for the month, and it'll be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all these articles. Apologies again for taking so long to finish this episode, but the next video on the channel will definitely explain everything, as it involves my biggest transit adventure yet. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.